match. I am Fred Mundy. This is the game show where our contestants spill their guts on their knowledge of serial killers. We have with us today Anthony Manson.
Actually, Fred, I would prefer the name Tony. Tony Manson.
My apologies, Tony. Let's get on with question number one.
No problem, Freddy.
All right, Tony, time for question number one.
What do you got, Freddy?
What serial killer dressed as a clown for children's charities and was pictured next to then First Lady Mrs. Carter?
Well, that's an easy one, Freddy. That would be John Wayne Gacy.
That is correct.
Let me tell you something about John Wayne Gacy. He used to be a building contractor, and that's how he got a lot of his male victims.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Well, I'm just saying.
All right, question number two, Tony. What serial killer left an AC/DC hat at one of his crime scenes?
I'm a big fan of that band. AC/DC is a great band. I believe that might be the Richard Ramirez Night Stalker case.
Very good. That is 2 for 2. You're on a hot streak, Tony.
I told you, I know my stuff. I watch all the documentaries. I've seen all the books. I read all the books. I know all this stuff.
Good.
I'm ready for that big money.
Okay.
I'm just saying there's a simple procedure you gotta follow. Well,
move on.
It is what it is.
All right. Let's move on to the all-important question number 3.
Okay.
What serial killer, before he was executed in Florida, blamed his crimes on an unhealthy obsession with violent pornography? Tick-tock, Tony.
Well,
3 seconds.
Albert Fish?
I'm sorry. That answer would be Ted Bundy.
Oh.
Now, audience, what do we do when somebody misses a question?
It's not explained clearly enough. Otherwise I would have.
All right, audience, you know what that means. It's time for punishment number 1. Now, Tony, because you got the question wrong,
I understand.
you are obligated to feel the wrath of the said murderers.
No, wait a minute. Let's talk about
So,
this first,
audience,
Freddy.
are we ready?
I did
Let's
not
count
sign
her
up
down.
to be punished.
3, 2,
Understand?
1.
Sorry.
Oh. All right, Tony, you didn't like that very much, did you?
No. I
Well-
did not sign up for this, Freddy.
Well,
I came on here as a game show about serial killers, and I get punched in the nose. All right. I did not sign up for this, and I'm suing you, and I'm suing everybody involved in this show. This is not fun.
Okay, let's get on to the next question, Tony. Maybe you can win that money.
Well, it is what it is.
Here we go. Question number 4. What serial killer drilled holes into the heads of his male victims, poured acid in their brains, trying to turn them into sexual zombies?
Well, that would be Jeffrey Dahmer.
That would be correct. He's on a hot streak, ladies and gentlemen.
I told you I watch all the documentaries, I read all the books about it. I know all about it, all his victims, terrible crimes.
Yes.
Milwaukee was never the same. Much respect.
Yes, okay. Move on.
Well,
Here we go. The next question.
okay.
What serial killer killed his mother by bashing her brains in with a hammer, then cut off her head and used it as a dartboard?
Oh,
3 seconds. I'm sorry there, Tony. The correct answer was Edmund Kemper. How you did not know that, Mr. I read all the books?
You are a bad man, and you're confusing me.
Now, audience,
You're not.
we know what that
listening
means.
to me.
The next punishment! Alright, folks, it is that time for punishment number 2.
No, please, no.
Tony, any last words? Alright, Here we go.
No.
Audience,
No.
3, 2, 1. That is what happens when you lose on Murder Match.
You?
How does it feel?
Well, it feels horrible.
Are you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
All right, that's 2 wrong there, Tony. Don't want to get a third.
Oh.
With that being said, we're going to move on to the bonus rounds. You can redeem yourself yet.
Bonus round. I've had enough. I'm going home.
You can't go
Going back
home.
home to Arkansas. I'm done with this.
Can't go home. The game must continue. Here we go.
Well,
For the bonus question, what is the name of one of the best original horror shows on YouTube that doesn't get the recognition or respect that it deserves?
I don't really watch much YouTube.
Time's a ticking.
I don't. Have mercy. Have mercy, Fred, please.
3 seconds.
Mood 616. I don't know.
I'm sorry there, Tony. That is not the correct answer. The correct answer is Descent into Horror Hell. Well, you know what that means. That is the end of the show. And that means you got the bonus question wrong, which means we're going to send you off on a fine farewell to the cruise of death. All right, everybody, that ends another fantastic episode of Murder Match. I am your host, Fred Mundy. Join us next time where more fans of the horror genre try to test their knowledge in a game of death, murder, and torture. Tony, how does it feel to be the big loser today?
Well,
That's fantastic. All right, let's get down to the very, very big finish. Here we go.
no!
See you next time, folks.
Ten, nine, 8, 7, 6, 6, 6.
Hey, boys and ghouls, welcome back to Descent into Horror Hell, episode 43.
43, my goodness.
We're going to continue our reviews of a film apiece, kind of go more in depth, as we know. Hope you guys enjoyed the intro, by the way. It was kind of.
We look a little red, we apologize, because
Yeah, it was
cannot get that blood out.
It was definitely fun to get back into doing those for you guys. We're just going to go off and assume that you guys enjoy them.
They're a pain in the ass to put together, but we hope you enjoy it, so it's worth it. So.
So yeah, let's continue with the films. We got out of the 70s, we moved on a little bit. I'm going to start with a film that from 1996 called Spectre. This is a good little ghost story. I think it kind of comes out of the woodwork for the 90s, because the 90s we a lot of times think of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, you know, those kind of teeny bopper slasher films. But this is a pretty decent ghost story. Basically starts with a flashback of these two maids that end up in this house to clean it after it's been abandoned.
For a while.
And yeah, it's actually a really cool atmosphere. It takes place over in an Ireland countryside. So it's actually got a really cool atmosphere. It really doesn't even seem like it's from 1996.
No.
The way it's shot, the score is, it just adds to this element of this is coming straight out of like the 70s. I can't remember who did the score.
I gotta
for
say
that.
who did the score, because he really deserves it. The
Yeah.
score really impressed me. Christopher Leonard's? Yeah, he was Absolutely amazing composer.
Yeah, it definitely adds, and it gives that old school feel, that Jaleo type feel to it. Not Jaleo. Fuck it, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, these maids are cleaning this house, and all this kind of weird stuff starts happening, especially the rats for the one lady.
I could have done without that.
And it's kind of a cool scene. There's this like gargoyle statue that's up on this building. She runs out and she gets in the car and it blows up. It's actually a pretty gory scene for the movie.
Don't forget the sickle.
And the sickle. Oh yeah. This is actually, it doesn't have a lot of gore in it, but this opening scene with the explosion is cool.
Comes out of nowhere too, like you're just not expecting it. Like she
Yeah.
runs out of the house, gets in the car, thinks she's gonna go wait. Nope.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
So then it fast forwards a couple years later, where Will and his wife Maury, they're kind of they go with their daughter to move into this giant house, and they're kind of on the outs with their marriage and things like that, and
Trust issues.
yeah. So you know, little girl kind of she goes up and she finds this creepy ass doll, obviously, in this room.
Creepy doll, yeah.
And basically this doll is possessed by this young girl, and she doesn't know why. She just has this friend who was talking to her and all this kind of stuff. And throughout the movie, you start to kind of piece it together. This priest shows up, Father Seamus, and he shows up at the door and kind of welcoming them, and they kind of express these weird things that have been happening. And that kind of unfolds into the young girl getting, or the father basically kind of unraveling and telling the story about the witchcraft and black magic that used to take place in this house. And if anybody's ever remembered the Edgar Allan Poe story where the guy gets buried in the wall, I don't remember the name of it, but same kind of idea here. This girl, they find out, is buried behind this wall.
The Black Cat, I think.
Is it the Black Cat?
I think it is.
And so this young girl's buried behind the wall, and this priest says, hey, this is kind of maybe why. So they find this young girl that's buried in this wall. They put her to rest properly, but that really doesn't solve things.
She's all rotted, maggots growing on her.
Yeah, it's actually
good
really kind of cool. So,
it's like something from Fulci, honestly.
So yeah, they go and bury her, but the problems really don't stop from there. So progressing really through the movie, the wife kind of starts going crazy, thinking that there's this woman. I don't remember what she was. She was
one of the paranormal.
Paranormal
investigators.
That's right. They brought in the paranormal team, and the girl, the wife starts having these fantasies, and not really fantasies, but images and hallucinations that her husband's like screwing this girl, and
there are some hallucinations too. Like she really is
Oh, yeah.
off her rocker.
Oh yeah,
Thinking they're having sex, and
Yep.
look who likes to watch. You know.
yeah, it gets kind of dark
Yeah.
for a time. It really does.
Yeah.
And then there's this kind of, the daughter disappears, and then you got this poltergeist type homage, I guess, where the daughter is speaking from the other side through the seance, and then the girl ends up getting buried in the wall, but he pulls the heroic, dad moment, and
All the dolls with their hanging on.
yeah, all
Their
inside of
necks
this
and
thing. It's a really cool, like, inside of this wall, like this chamber and stuff. It's really cool looking.
As Ghoul said, this movie screams atmosphere. It's got that total ghost feel that just gives you goosebumps when you watch it. A little hard on CG at times, and some of it's laughable actually, but
yeah,
it's a really good story, really original story, and I think more people should see it.
yeah, I think Spectre is kind of one of those, like I said, kind of comes out of left field.
I never heard of it till Ghoul told me about
Yeah,
it.
it's definitely one of those films. I think if you kind of like those throwbacks, but it's a modern take on it. Spectre is definitely a way to go. I think you guys, if you like your ghost stories with some jump scares in it, really, like I said, really great score in this film.
And you'll never look at cutting a turkey the same way again.
Very true.
The part I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that came out of left field, dude. I was not expecting that.
That was, yeah, it's got some
Good turkey scene.
good movies. So Spectre, 1996.
We shall return. Stick around.
Cheers.
It is real. The human evil is self-evident in this world. But there are other, purer forms belonging to the vapor and the darkness. This I have discovered.
You may have an elemental inhabiting your house.
A force that knows no bounds.
I'm feeling something here.
An evil that feels no pity. A horror that preys on the innocent and lives in the house of the damned. Spectre.
Your ancestors were practitioners of black magic in this house.
I've never felt a presence that strong before. Where is my daughter?
We laid Connie to rest. The evil has taken Aubrey in our place.
Sorry, Will. Baby, come back to us, okay?
This force feeds on suspicion and doubt and fear.
Get away from her.
Alexandra Paul, Greg Evigan.
Mother's just awful when she's like this.
Spectre.
What's going on, horror fans? We are back. Hope you guys are having fun. Pretty fun show so far. So let's continue
Would
this.
you get the hell out of here?
We seem to have a fucking guest.
Jesus Christ, this phone's his head like, hey.
Probably thought I was talking to him.
I am here.
Can we leave that in? Keep going? Alright. Sorry about that, folks, with technical difficulties.
Doggy difficulties.
Doggy difficulties. What's going on, horror?
God damn
Here we go.
it. It starts.
Ziggy Goose.
Okay.
What's going on, horror fans? We are back. Let's keep this shit rolling. My next movie I have is Buddy Giovinazzo's classic Combat Shock from 1984. Ghoul is clapping for me because he thought I was going to fuck up the last name, Giovinazzo.
You've been doing it for the last 20 minutes?
Yeah, I was rehearsing it. It's a hard name to say.
Giovinazzo. Just kind of.
Giovinazzo, yes. Great director. I don't think he gets the respect he deserves. And if you watch the bonus disc on this version, you'll see why. Because a lot of great directors like Jim Van Bever, Scott Spiegel, William Lustig, York Buckwright, all these really amazing directors that we love, really praise Buddy's movies, and especially Combat Shock. It's ahead of its time. It's still a movie that's relevant to this day. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Combat Shock. So now, before we get into it, I just want to say this movie, it's not a movie that you want to put on and watch if you are depressed already.
Yeah.
Because by the time it's over, you're going to be 10 times more depressed, and you're going to slit your fucking wrist. So
It's a holiday movie.
watch in moderation this movie. This is not a feel-good movie, you know, that you want
It's
to...
not a Lifetime movie.
No, it's a lot of Lifetime stuff in it, but... you know,
Yeah.
and like I said, it's very relevant to this day because, first off, you know, Frankie is a Vietnam veteran, and, you know, they're exposed to the Agent Orange, the torture, the seeing their buddies just blown away. You know, they're in their bunk one minute and then they're in pieces the next. I mean, it's a horrible, horrible thing that happened, and unfortunately continues to happen. But at the level of Vietnam, it was just unbelievable, and I think this movie really captures that. Buddy did a great job trying to capture the realism, I think, of war and the horrors of war, and what happens when our guys and gals come back and the government pretty much fucks them over. You know, there's no...
Basically what happened.
Yeah, there's no jobs, everyone's on unemployment, and it must have been the effect of Agent Orange on the baby, I would imagine, huh?
Yep,
That's
that's, yep. She
blamed him for
not telling her.
Kathy,
Then they made Whoopi and, you know, basically the Eraserhead baby came out. You know, it's kind of equivalent of Eraserhead baby. And Buddy even said that he was highly influenced by David Lynch's Eraserhead, which a lot of filmmakers were, so it's perfectly normal. But the baby definitely has an Eraserhead vibe. Very bleak, very disgusting. A type of movie that you kind of can smell it. Like it's a very rancid apartment that they're living in and trying to survive in. He's out of work. She's watching the baby all the time.
I believe she's pregnant too.
Yeah, that's right. She is pregnant again. Yeah, they're expecting another one on the way, and it makes matters worse. His childhood friends are junkies, constantly asking him money when he's walking, trying to find work. Wants him to participate in crimes that he does not want to. So Frankie's just trying to get by, man. He's just trying to support his family, but he is so mentally fucked up from the war. PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome from the war, and does not have a good relationship with his father at all. Tries asking him for money because they gotta eat.
But he didn't want to, though. I remember.
No, he doesn't.
Because there was some falling out. Because with him being with Kathy, his dad didn't approve of her and the marriage and whatever. But
I think they left him out of his will too.
Yeah,
like that.
And actually, it's really kind of sad, the phone call that he makes to his dad later down the line.
Yeah.
It's really at the end of his
asking him for money, and I don't have any money. I lost everything.
And he's total bullshit because he's sitting in this mansion.
Yeah.
I don't believe that at all.
And he thought Frankie, his son, was dead in Saigon.
He was supposed to be. He was actually got the paperwork and everything. So it's actually kind of sad because it really makes.
That goes to show you what the government hides from you too. You know, they say that your son is dead, but yeah, he's living in the Bronx and he's living like a rat, basically trying to get by.
So.
The scenes in this movie are so disturbing. Just even the scenery alone, you just feel the sleaze of New York.
We got
watch this, like the '80s style New York, like when you watch Maniac or Deadbeat at Dawn, something like that, something along those lines.
Like with the pimp when he's just talking to those two girls, the mom or whatever, the dead mother, I guess, leaves these two girls and probably one's no older than probably 8 or 9.
Yeah,
and they're basically
getting. They still want to date. Yeah,
and they're pretty much getting prostituted out. And
it's horrible.
I mean, it's.
You got the black pimp who looks like
Dolomite.
Yeah, he does. It kind of looks like Dolomite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up, bitch! Slaps her. Yeah.
So it's. Yeah.
It's a very, very rough movie. And when Buddy was filming it, he was going through a lot of stuff as well, and you could see it in the filming technique. Mm-hmm. He had professional actors for the movie, but strangely enough, the role of Frankie went to his own brother, Rick. And what's I have to say about Rick is, when you watch Combat Shock, it's an amazing performance about the depravity and the mental breakdown of somebody. And this guy never acted in his life before this movie, and he has not starred in a single movie even after it. So it's amazing when you watch it. Like, this guy is a really good actor, and he's the director's brother. Yeah. And the director even said that his brother was better than half the auditions he would get from professional actors, so he just decided to keep it in the family, and I'm glad he did, because it's an amazing, absolutely amazing performance. Mm-hmm. The part where, man, if you've never seen Combat Shock, the last, 10, 20 minutes of it is just hits you like a freight train, man. It's like
we're not going to give it away. Because
no, I can't. I want to, but I'm not going to.
Because the ending, I mean, you kind of figure
from the cover, you can kind of see that.
But this and that cover, he doesn't even do that. He wants to, but he realizes that he doesn't want to do that. In that scene, I remember he just puts it up to his head.
Anyway, the whole sour milk part is very disturbing to watch.
At the end too, because it's like I think he gets to, and you really feel for him because in the beginning when he smells the sour milk and he's like, "Oh, it's disgusting," he tries drinking it.
And then when he tell me it was expired.
And then you get to the point in his life in the movie where he drinks it and doesn't even care. It gets to that. Bless you. It gets to that point in someone's life to where they don't give two shits about anything.
No.
And
He just
how
wants to
sad
drink.
that
He doesn't
is.
care if it's spoiled.
And it's so like, it's so hard to.
It's
like,
hard to talk
watch.
about this movie without giving so much away to us.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one of those movies you just gotta trust us here at the Set Nowhere. We always.
If you
recommend
haven't seen it,
great movies.
I know it's been around. I think since Severin released it, we got put this one out.
I think it's Dark Sky. Isn't
Dark Sky. No, Trauma Retro.
Oh yeah.
So this is a trauma film, a release. It's
Not
not a trauma film. It's a
Not
release.
a traditional trauma. Even Lloyd
Right.
Kaufman himself says that distributed this movie, yes, but trauma movie, no. It's very serious.
So I mean, it's got a better release now. It used to just be very hard to find.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, I know some people, this release, the Severin one, with the American Nightmares book,
Yeah.
the scrapbook, I mean, you learn so much stuff. It's basically in writing what the disc is in the 2-disc. But it's got some of the script in there. It's expensive. It's out of print, but you can find them.
Well.
Absolutely. You learn so much about the film and like all the flashbacks, especially when in the beginning when he shoots that girl and he doesn't really know why he did it.
Yeah.
You know, he's just kind of looking at her, and it's just the way it's shot with the music and the. You know, it's just so powerful in the way that it's shot that way, and
Also the
weird
fact that
camera
he
stuff.
goes to war, he's like a pretty much normal person, and then the war just kind of just transformed him from the hero to the villain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, basically, it did it in a brilliant way. You know, because you never saw it coming. You thought that Frankie was, you knew something was wrong with him, obviously, but not that.
Not that
you know,
extent.
so it. This is a movie where you really just have to watch it, enjoy it for what it is, and if you can get through it, props to you, because it's one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen. It's always on those disturbing movies list, rightfully so. It's also one of my personal favorite movies of all time, not just horror, but movies in general.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's
a
horror.
great
It's
film.
it's one of those real life horror movies we're talking
Really,
about.
very real life horror.
There's you know, like Spectre, which is more paranormal ghost story stuff.
Yeah.
But this is something that really did happen. There are plenty of people with combat shock and PTSD, and it really kind of gives you an insight, I think, to the extreme part of it. But
and a lot of that is happening, and the government turns a blind eye to it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to discuss it. They want to sweep it right under the carpet. You know, our guys and gals come back. God knows what they see. You know, I mean, how do you even adapt to society again after you have been in war? War is hell. You know, war is real hell. Much respect to our veterans. Much respect to anyone in the service from the Set Royal. And check out Combat Shock, guys.
all right,
Enjoy it.
guys, we're gonna come back and we're gonna take you to the little land of Planets Collide. So, cheers.
The fighting. The killing. The maiming. The Agent Orange and napalm. The torture cages. They were the easy part of Combat Shock.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Planets Collide with
Scudgore? Scuds? Killjoy called me Scuds one time. Remember that?
Yeah.
What's her name? Scuds? Remember that?
Alright.
Take two Steve's brother.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Ghoul from Descent into Horror Hell.
Scudgore, what's going on?
This is Planets Collide. A little bit different than normal. We actually got 3 tributes since the last show. Pretty hard ones, actually. Actually, one really hard one.
Yeah.
Which we will get to. Of course, we were talking about ZZ Top, legend Dusty Hill passed away, and you know, ZZ Top, man, that's one of the bands that I grew up listening to with my dad and stuff like that. I mean, they're a staple in classic rock for sure. That Southern blues, Skinner.
There was like Skinner and Allman Brothers. And
absolutely.
Like
you know, what can you say about them? Just fantastic musicianship. It was one of those very iconic people, I think, in music, and yeah.
I was lucky enough to see ZZ Top for one of my birthdays. That was really cool, and they just had such a presence on stage. They didn't move around a lot, you know. They are older men, but man, they rock just as much as anybody, and they put on such a great show. Had so much respect for ZZ Top, and yeah, like Ghoul said, you know, we grew up.
I mean, this is kind of like, if you listen to Boston's first album, it's kind of like
essential hard rock album.
Well, it's like, it's an album, but it's almost like a greatest hits, because like,
yeah, every song just,
you know it,
is amazing.
You know, all your love.
Either hear it on, if you hear it on the radio, or you know,
yeah,
it's just embedded in the American culture, you know, because they're just one of the top bands. And it's very, very sad that Dusty's gone. He was a great guy, amazing bass player, really good backup singer too. Him and Billy Gibbons together.
That whole trio, even Frank Beard sang.
Frank Beard, yeah.
Without the beard. Yeah.
Without the beard, yeah.
But no, you know, it's one of those bands where, you know, unfortunately, it's, I think, going to come to an end. I mean, I just don't see anybody replacing them, or I don't even think they would. You know,
well, they already played a couple shows without him, and they got a replacement, so who knows? And Dusty said,
keep it going.
Keep it going, yeah. He told the guys, keep it going. If something happens to me, just keep it going. So I think they'll probably respect his wishes, but it definitely won't be the same without Dusty. So rest in peace, Dusty.
It's always fun. Music is fun. Do you know that? Yeah, it's fun. It's not just fun to listen to, it's fun to do. You know?
All right, on to the next. Cheers to everyone. Take the next.
Who's next?
Metal Church.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Howe, the singer, passed away, unfortunately, under not good circumstances.
No.
If anybody's heard, it was
death by asphyxiation, hanging.
Yeah. Not something easily, you know, you talk about. I think we lose so many musicians now that way, and it's really a shame, because it's more of a mental thing, I believe, that they go through. And
yeah,
you know,
he had a lot of suffering upstairs, and he took a lot of medication for it, and it sounded like from his bandmates that it kind of caught up to him, you know, these side effects and stuff.
So, I mean, Metal Church, you know, one album I know is Blessing in Disguise. This is one with Mike Howe singing.
And this is one with the great David Wayne, but Mike Howe definitely sang these songs live, so I thought it would be good.
Yeah, so I mean, Metal Church is kind of one of those bands where the first time I ever heard them was their self-titled, and I always remember that
great record
guitar with all the moss and all that. It looked really cool, like in a graveyard. I always remember that cover was so cool. Bless you.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that was always kind of the cover I remember seeing. And later on, I started to listen to Metal Church a little bit more. You know, I won't lie, I'm not the biggest fan of Metal Church, but you know, I do love the music they do play. Especially some of the early records from like '88 to about '92 or so.
For me, Metal Church is kind of like Overkill, or like one of those bands where you can just kind of count on what you're going to get. I mean, if you liked their last album, you're probably going to like the next one. You know, there's one of those bands you can kind of just count on. Yeah. And you know, whether it's David Wayne or Mike Howe, like they lost two amazing singers.
Yeah.
But Metal Church, I hope they continue. Hope they find some more an amazing singer. You know, because Mike's going to be a hard guy to replace. And
for sure.
I also want to say that Metal Church, not only being a great band that writes timeless heavy metal music, they have the greatest name in the history of heavy metal music. Metal Church. Much respect, Mike Howe.
Cheers to that. Number two.
And David Wayne. Yeah.
All right, now the one that I think most people out there in YouTube land know about. Obviously, for me and Skid Goer, this is kind of like when George Romero passed away. Like, certain deaths kind of bring a different sense of feeling.
Yeah.
Joey Jordison was definitely that guy. It's kind of the real reason me getting into drumming in the first place, especially extreme drumming. Playing as fast as I could, as being 11 years old. It's like I'm gonna play as fast as I can because Joey Jordison. That was my inspiration for sure. Yeah.
Basically, for me, I already knew about extreme metal, death metal, black metal. Before Slipknot, I was into like DSI, Cannibal Corpse, all that stuff. But when Slipknot came out, they were so unique. Not just the masks and the jumpsuits, but they were very unique. And I think Jamie Jost of Hatebreed said it the best when he said, they were tributing Joey, he said that Joey Jordison pretty much brought the blast beat to the mainstream. And I highly agree with that, because it was bands like Slipknot and Fear Factory, they were kind of gateway bands. If kids are into bands like heavy like that, that's the heaviest shit you hear on the radio. So maybe you'll step it up to like Immolation or Incantation or something,
Wow.
If you want something heavier. But Slipknot was definitely a great gateway band to a lot of heavier things, and even Mick Thompson was a huge death metal fan, even has an Immolation tattoo, so they bring a lot of death metal into Slipknot, into their music. But Joey, man, the guy was just a drumming machine, a total icon. Whether he's playing drums or whether he's playing guitar for Murder Dolls, one of my personal favorite bands. The guy is just amazing. He did so many. How many other drummers can you say played for a band like Slipknot, played for a band like Korn, Rob Zombie, legendary Metallica?
Satyricon.
I was just about to get to that fucking Satyricon. How many fucking drummers can you say that many? And Ministry. That's a whole nother style of music too, industrial. Yeah. So he just did all of that. It's amazing. Like, when you think of the drummers, to me, losing Joey is kind of like, he's like our generation's Neil Peart, in my opinion. We lost Neil Peart sadly, but now we lost Joey, and a lot of younger metal fans and metal drummers and stuff really looked up to Joey. And rightfully so. The guy was an amazing talent, an amazing human being, and we definitely will miss him. And I just want to say I cherish this because this is actually his drumstick I got at the Slipknot show. So when I heard he died, I immediately picked this up and just did the old metal band.
Now I gotta say, like, as far as releases go, first time I ever heard them, obviously, was their Barcode album. Not their first official album.
Maybe Fear Killer Pete was the first one.
It was an EP at that, but when the first time I saw this was actually the first CD I wanted to buy with a parental advisory sticker.
Yeah, that's quite a story. Why don't you tell that real quick?
I was at the holiday parade in my hometown, and there was Dr. Freud's at the time, and I was too young. And I got my brother to go in and buy me this CD, and then my sister narked on me on the walk back to the car. My mom wasn't happy about that, so I never saw it again.
She tried to hide it from your parents.
Yeah, that didn't work.
We all been there, guys. I
ended up buying it, but hearing Eyeless and Surfacing, Sick, which just that just the clean. And that's the thing. You hear a lot of drummers and musicians in general, but drummers mainly on a CD or whatever, and it sounds really polished, sounds perfect, and they get to the live show, and it's kind of not what you expected, not with Joey. You got to the show, it sounded exactly like the album. It is so crisp, so clean, unbelievable. One other thing I want to say here is the other DVD disaster pieces.
I wore that out.
This, yeah, mine's getting there. This, I always went to the drum cameras. When he's in Heretic Anthem, People Equal Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, just when you have those cameras, I always went to Joey just to watch him play that. It's just so spectacular, so amazing.
Same here. I was lucky enough to actually see him do that upside down Tommy Lee Crazy solo. It was his birthday at the show, so he did it as, for his birthday. It was so cool. Yeah. There were even people talking on the radio the next day about it. That was awesome. But man, we're going to miss him a lot, and I know a lot of people are. He touched a lot of people, made them pick up drumsticks, and just, even a guitar, man. He was a great musician all around. Yeah. Very extreme talented musician.
Very under the radar when it comes to guitar players. Because, Murder Dolls isn't exactly a household name. I mean, Wednesday 13, it is, but unless you really do the research on, Joey, find out the other bands.
And he played all those instruments on Beyond the Valley, the Murder Dolls.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So, again, we're gonna do the annual, well, not really annual, but it seems like now lately it is an annual event. Yeah. The Three Pumpkins salute to Dusty Hill, Mike Howe, and Joey Jordison. You guys carry on.
Guys.
Make that super group in the sky. And welcome back to Descent into Horror Hell. We're going to wrap this episode up, episode 43. Of course, we had some great movies for you. We also had the tributes for Dusty Hill, Mike Howe, and of course Joey Jordison.
Absolutely.
Definitely check out all their music. ZZ Top, Metal Church, and Murder Dolls, Slipknot, you name it.
Sinsanum.
So, yeah. Couple of announcements, I guess, on our end. Make sure, of course, you like and subscribe to the channel. Get all of our old content, all of our old stupidity.
Leave us a comment below.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. And by the way, we'll make sure when the editing process that we will not suspend comments, because if you go,
I don't know why the hell it did
I don't know, it says that, like we're saying, leave comments below, and people can't because it says it's suspended or some shit. So we'll try to figure that out for you guys.
Yeah, certain videos it does it for. I don't know why, but
it's been doing it lately the last couple shows. I don't know why.
They're trying to ban us.
Yeah, fuck you, YouTube.
So yeah, anything on your end?
Yeah, man. Just thanks for watching. Thanks for taking your time to watch us. Try to do our best to bring you the best in horror and metal entertainment.
Got the Halloween episode.
Yeah, man. We got our Christmas coming up, man. October, the mighty October.
This will be number 4, 5.
I don't know. Yeah, I was keeping count out there. But it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be bloody. We've got some good treats and tricks and treats for you guys.
Triscuits.
I'm not drunk. Yeah, so it's gonna be cool. Stick around.
Yeah, of course, locally for us, we got Wendigo Fest. We've mentioned it before in previous shows. This year, of course, Kane Hodder is going to be here, which is fantastic.
fantastic.
Victor Crowley, Jason Voorhees himself,
So
and Coach Willis.
unfortunately, I don't think we're getting an interview for that one.
No, we're not
Unless
even.
something
We're just going as
absolutely
fanboys,
happens.
man. We're just going as fanboys. Maybe we'll shoot some shit. Who knows?
So yeah, you know, like I said, we'll wrap this up. But the films that we talked about again: 1996, Spectre.
1984, Combat Shot.
So check those out. Other than that, I think that's a wrap on 43.
We'll see you when the time is right.
Next month.
Next month. I'm Skid Gore.
Ghoul.
We'll see you next time, guys, on Descent into Whore!